We are going to play through every Story of Seasons game from the series' conception to the modern day. Along the way, we are going to rate them against each other to determine which ones are the worst and which ones are the best. Alright, first Harvest Moon game on the SNES, and the first one on our journey. We start the game being seen off by our very concerned mother and suspenders-wearing father. Then, we make our way towards our farm, and... Is that a chicken? That is a chicken! Welcome, one and all, to the segment where we appraise the finest and goodest of animals known to farm life, the chicken. As this is the first game in the series, let me just say that this is the quintessential chicken. The design is simple, yet elegant. It doesn't try too hard to be realistic, it instead focuses on creating a sprite that is both cute and clearly chicken looking. However, the same can't be said about the chick. I think they went a little too simplistic at some angles, even looking sorta horrifying. It looks like they mistakenly kept the chick sprite behind the chicken sprite right here. It looks like it was probably supposed to be in front of it. Regardless, a great start to a long line of chickens. It gets a 3 out of 3 cuddles. Now we can have a look at our farm, and wow, this looks great. Look at that nice tall grass, the very rustic home in the back there, and a well-kept path and fence. Oh boy, I can't wait to start. Wait a minute. This place is crap. Why does it look like the second half of the house was carpet bombed? Why is it so freaking small compared to the intro? There are weeds and straight up giant rocks everywhere in this farm. Anyways, it's time to start our new life on rural land. Our unnamed friend comes over to ask our name and then lead us into town to introduce ourselves to the local townsfolk. First thing you may notice is that our unnamed friend is, well, unnamed. No one has a name. You just kind of have to remember their names like the good old days, or hope they speak in third person repeatedly. There seems to be a lack of any information, actually, so I assume more information would have been found in the booklet given to you with the game. Anyways, I don't actually own the booklet, so let's just use the Internet Archive to have a look at it. Immediately opening the booklet, we see we get a nice explanation for why we're here and what we're doing. This basically boils down to start farming. Here we see that we can get married and even start a family. This was really cool to me as a kid. It wasn't like anything I've played before. While the booklet doesn't explicitly list the eligible bachelorettes, they do show some of them throughout the booklet. Here we have Ellen, Nina, Maria, and Anne. For some reason, Eve isn't listed, which is fine since she's my least favorite anyway. Winning them over is simple. Just talk to them and hand them gifts every day until they like you. If you don't know how they feel about you, just barge into their homes and read their diaries. That's not at all creepy or invasion of privacy. Anyways, the booklet also has other vital information necessary, like the cost of various items, how stamina works, and the events throughout the game. If you played this game before the internet and didn't have the booklet, you would have to rely on good old trial and error to figure this stuff out. This was fine for the time, but nowadays players may get frustrated on the sheer lack of in-game information and quality of life standards that we've become used to in modern games. This information is technically in the game too, but you have to go to specific areas to find it. It's a lot easier to have this booklet on hand, or in our modern age, just have a couple of web pages open on your phone for reference. Now that we have the information we need, we can actually start playing the game. It is annoying that we don't have any sort of menu system or even an inventory, but this is an old game, so we'll try to judge it as a product of its time. Still, it's worth noting that it is incredibly annoying to pick an item and have to walk all the way back to your farm just to sell it. Still, foraging is a good way to make money early game, as you need to wait for your crops to grow and, oh, it's nighttime. Okay, well maybe foraging just takes long. You do have to walk all the way up the mountain to get there after all, and through the cave. Let's instead spend our time cleaning our farm a bit. We need lots of open land to plant crops and grow our farm, and it's nighttime again. Yeah, so the day-night cycle in this game is very fast and takes some getting used to. As a kid, I didn't really mind this much since I had nothing else to reference to. After playing it for a while, I eventually got used to it again. You have to be more careful in planning what you have to do each day with what little time you have. Your options for the day include working on the farm, taking care of animals, fishing, foraging, and talking to the villagers. Farming is as simple as hoeing, planting, watering, and moving on. Fishing is also very simple, as it consists of going to the one lake in the entire game that apparently has fish and pressing A. The animals you can raise are cows, chickens, a dog, and a horse. The chickens provide eggs, and the cows produce milk. Pretty straightforward. Both can be left outside during nice days to feed off the grass and improve their mood. Another nice little feature of this game is that planted grass actually regrows after winter ends, meaning you don't have to waste your time replanting every year. This definitely saves a lot of time and makes focusing on animals a viable option over strictly farming. The horse can be ridden like a horse. It even comes with a portable shipping container on him when he grows up, which also saves a lot of time. The dog, well, I don't really know what the dog does. According to the Harvest Moon wiki, he prevents fences from being destroyed, and not hugging him at least 100 times will prevent you from getting the best ending. Luckily, I picked up my dog quite literally every day as a kid, sometimes multiple times in a row. And I mean, if you aren't hugging your dog at least 100 times a day, you deserve to lose anyway. That pretty much wraps up the entirety of the gameplay, and even the game as a whole, honestly. The characters are written believably enough that it doesn't distract you or take away from the experience, but it's not so well written that they warrant any in-depth discussion. You do occasionally run into some colorful characters and funny events, but I would recommend going through the game and finding out for yourself. There's a reason this game virtually defined a genre and would go on to inspire the massively successful Stardew Valley. Sometimes people want a break from high-intensity games and just want a relaxing experience they can jump right into. The simplicity of its design and mechanics are oddly charming in its ability to provide a break from our increasingly busy world. Seeing as this is the first game in this series, it's obviously a number one. As we continue through our journey, you will see how this game holds up to its more modern titles, but for now, just know that this is a solid enough foundation that the series would continue to build on to this day.